Hello fellow traders, you're welcome once again to my channel. Hope you're having a lovely day. Today I have this very simple strategy I want to share with you guys, and all you need is just a trend line. Let's get to it. So we are on a 15 minutes chart. I would advise you maybe stick to 15 minutes chart. Though during your back testing you can back test on other time frames, but the best I've seen so far is the 15 minutes chart. So let's bring in our trend line. So let's just start from this point. So if you're starting from a high, please start from the black candle, that is the sell candle. Let me zoom in so you see what I'm saying. At this point there's a red, there's another red. You're going to start from a sell candle from the top. If you are starting your trend line from the bottom, you are starting from the buy candle. That's the red. That is the way this particular strategy, that is the way the trend line is being drawn. So you start from the sell candle at the top. You pull your trend line. You make sure your trend line rests on only that same color candles. Like this is black, is resting on black, the wick. It doesn't, that is, you place your trend line in such a way no black candle or wick is exposed above the trend line. So you expand it till, that is, you expand, you stretch it forward. At this point we have a break above it, but there is no higher high, so we continue stretching it till, so the thing is, once you stretch your trend line, if there's a break above it and there's no higher high, you wait till the price action closes below this point. If it closes below this point without a higher high, it closes below this point, that is what I'm saying. The price action has to close below the red. Like now you have a breakout above, but there's no higher high. You wait for price action to come and close below it before you can move your trend line. If it is still somewhere here, it has not closed, if it's doing whatever it's doing, as long as it doesn't create a higher high, you are still on this trend line. So you wait until price action maybe closes below it, then you can move your trend line. But you know, the funny thing is, at times price action can come this low without breaking below this and come back and create a higher high. That means this trend line has finished its work. So now till till price action closed below, there was no higher high, so you move your trend line to on top of the black. Look at it here. Make sure your trend line is always resting on the back, and look at it from here, from the beginning to where it's resting on this black till the price got to this point. There is no place here that you have a black wick or a black candle body exposed outside above this trend line. So now at this point we have a higher high form. So once you have a higher high, you know this trend line has finished its work, but you leave it there, you don't remove it. So once you have a higher high, now you are on a pullback phase. Please try to understand this. It has to be black candle to black body or black wick. Nothing has to be above it that is black. There can be red wick, there can be red body above it, as long as it is not a higher high, the trend line is still valid. So now at this point we have a higher high. Once you have a higher high, the next thing you start looking for on this candle movement, on this pullback, you know, this is a pullback, this is the expansion or the extension. So this is a pullback. Once you have a higher high above this trend line, you leave the trend line where it is. Make sure it's resting on the candle, the black candle. So now the higher high, the next thing you start looking for is a candle, that is a break below the red candle. The red candle is the candle that is going up. That's the buy candle. You start looking for a break below it. And when I say a break below it, you know I'm always referring to a break and a lower low close below it. So at this point, there's none. At this point, there's none. At this point, okay, let me just expand a bit and explain certain things. The thing is, you need a break below and a lower low form under each candle. That is, if it is a consecutive candle like this, you need a break below it. Like you need a candle that is a close below it. You know, this is where the red candle is. All this equals to one candle with this strategy. So you need a black to come, no red between it, just a black to come close below it and create a lower low. If it doesn't happen like that, the next red you have, you move your trend line to that red. If it's another consecutive, you leave it there. But if it is one candle like this one, like this place now, you have 3 consecutive candles, 2 black candles form. It didn't come to break the low of these 3 consecutive candles, and it formed a red. This candle, this 3 has finished its work. You move your trend line to this one. If you were expecting this black to break below it didn't. It created another red. You move your candle to that red. Please always allow your candles to close before you move your trend line. Now, this black was expected to break it didn't. It created another red. You move your trend line to that red. And funny enough, it was only red, and it started printing black till it broke below this trend line. So the minute it broke below it and created a lower low, we are good. Next thing is we start looking for entry. What we need is price to come back into this spot. Anywhere inside this spot, anywhere above. Once you have a lower low, you need price to come back inside this place, anywhere inside this place. It could be a wick, it could be anything. Once you have a wick, that is a red candle wick. You know, red is the upward movement. Once you have a lower low, you need price action to come back here and do certain things. So it could be a wick, it could be anything. Once price comes back here, like this example now, you look for an entry on a lower time frame. That is, you go to your 5 minutes or your 1 minute chart and look for maybe a break, or a break of a high, or a break of a low, whatever it is. Then you look for your entry. Some of us have trade entry confirmations on lower time frames. Then you look for those inside this place and sell. And once you sell, you have something like this. Look at it. It's going to go down. So once you have your sell, you put your line here, so you know when you can enter. This is the lowest point before the pullback. You put your trend line here, so you know, okay, now we are good for another trend. Then you start. Then from this place, the highest black candle there, you put a trend line on it. That is from the retest. It could be a retest, it could be a pullback. From that same spot, the highest one there, you put your trend line. You start looking again. The black, you extend it. This is where, what I'm saying is this: we're on a sell. That is, the price action is, we're on a downtrend, so it is the black candles we'll be using. If you're on the buy trend, it is the red candles you'll be marking, red to red body, red to red wick. But since we are selling, it is the sell candles you're using with your trend line. So from here now, if you put your trend line here, not this place, here. put your trend line here and extend. Look at what happened. Price came in with a high and created a higher high, meaning this is a pullback again. Something that happened there, a higher high and price went like this. The same thing, higher high, price went like this. So from this move, if we start looking at it, there's this thing I called a betray, that is a Judas candle. If some of us can remember, I said the candle that gave in. Most of these moves, the red candles here did not allow the black candles to break below it and create a lower low. It was this move here, this set of candles. For this strategy, 3-4 candles, the same color candles represent one color candle. That is just, so from here to here it represents just one candle, and that is the betraying candle. That is Judas candle. So the same thing here now. If you look at it, at this point, let me expand it so you see. At this point, look at it. That is, before you start looking for your betrayal candle, make sure there's a higher high close above the trend line. The higher high close finished here. Let me show you, because I don't want you guys to make any mistake. This is a very simple strategy once you follow the rules. If you missed anything, please watch the video again. This is where the higher high finished. So once the higher high has happened, this is the first place you start looking for a break below by the black. But the black did not break it, it created a red. You put your trend line here. Put your trend line here at the bottom of this. Did not create it created another red. You are still leaving your trend line here. And funny enough, it came down with black. We were hoping it to come and break this low. It didn't. It created a red. So you move your red, your trend line to that red. So eventually, price broke below the red. So this one is the Judas candle, the betraying candle. It gave in. The other ones didn't. This one gave in. And after that, what happened? Lower low. So once you have that, you know this pullback is valid, this betrayal candle is valid, your trend line is valid. So what do you do again? You wait for price to come back into this place. So you extend it. So like I normally say, at least all the way we were doing this, analyzing which one is betrayal candle, you know price would have gotten to somewhere around this place. So all this has not happened yet. So you mark your candle, you wait for price to come back there. The thing is, I would have said once price comes back to the betraying candle, you can take you can look for your entries on smaller lower time frame, maybe 5 minutes, 1 minute. But the thing is, with forex, nothing is certain. At times price action will come to your candle, the Judas candle, the betraying candle. At times they will still let price move up towards the end of the pullback, because of what? They are trying to hunt your stop losses, because they know once you accept this is your candle, you place your stop loss, they will hunt it. So what you can do is look for a smaller time frame entry. So once you have that entry, your entry will determine where you put your stop loss. Because if you want to put your stop loss here now, your stop loss will be a bit big, maybe a pip or two above this. That is huge. So most times when you go into the lower time frames and you pick your entries, you will know definitely where to put your stop. But look at the funny thing, price left and came back there. It came back. So it is at this point you take your entries and you sell. Very simple, straightforward strategy. Look at this one again. for time's sake I've marked it. Look at it. Like I said, you're not putting your trend line here, you're starting from here. You're starting from the pullback, the highest black candle on the pullback, or the highest black candle on the retest. We started from the highest here due to this was the highest. There are certain ways price action closes. This was the highest here. We didn't have a retest here, so that's why we had to start from the highest here. But at this point, we had a retest here. After a breakout, a lower low, we had a retest. That's why we started from here. So likewise here too, we had a retest. So remember, your trend line has to be on your expansion, not on the pullback. So like here now, you put your trend line on the black, you start putting it on the black. Make sure there's no black wick above. If a black wick comes to this place, you put your trend line on it. That is how you do it. So you start expanding your trend line. So as at this place now, there's no higher high. There was a break above, but there's no higher high. You bring your trend line here. There was a break above, but there's no higher high. You wait for your price to close below this. So now with this candle, it has covered this flow. So you look for the highest black wick, which is here. You put your trend line on it. There's a break, but there's no higher high. Then price closed below this leg. The thing is, any leg that breaks the trend line, once there's no higher high, you allow price to close below its back before you move your trend line. So now price has closed below this leg that went now to break the trend line. Price closed below its back, so we can move our trend line and extend it. Make sure your trend line rests on the wick so that you have a very accurate measurement. Look at this point now. There's a red wick above it. I'm not bothered about that. I'm concerned about black wicks. Black body, black wick. There should be no black above the trend line, since it is black to black we are measuring. This is a sell model, so it is the opposite for the buy model. No black candle to black wick. There should be no black body or black wick above the trend line. If it is a buy model, there must be no red candle above the trend line. That is the rate below. Sorry, there must be no red candle below the trend line. So look at it now. From this, next thing we had a break and a higher high formed. At the close of this candle, the higher high formed. That is a confirmation of a pullback. This is a pullback. Once you have a higher high above this trend line, there is a pullback there. So once you have a pullback, what do you do again? You look for your Judas candle, and for the sake of time, I've marked it already. This is the Judas candle, these two. Because once we had a higher high, there's no other candle apart from these two reds. So you put your line below it. And what happened after that? We had a lower low form. So it confirmed this pullback. And once price comes back into this place, what do? We look for our sell entries, and we take a sell from here. Please, I'm trying to make a video to compile up to 5 lower time frame strategies, entry strategies. I think that should be the next video I'll make, because I know right now some of you will be wondering, how do I do it? How do I do it when I get here? I'll make a lower time frame, a 1 minute, 5 minutes lower time frame entry strategy. At least I think I should be able to come up with 5 or 6 of it. So I think that should be the next video I'll try to make. So just look at it. There's a lower low, and price came back into this candle zone. So if you are here now and you take your entries and you sell, Look at it. Look at what happened. Price went down. Just like that. Then you do what again? You bring out your trend line from that same spot where I said, the thing is, if this is the highest candle, the highest black candle here, if you put your trend line on this candle, this black candle, let me expand it so you see what I'm saying. This is the highest black candle. If you put your trend line on it to the next black candle, extend it, it is still okay, but you are going to miss all these movements. So that is why, so see, if you notice your trend line is becoming too, that is, price action is becoming too steep, it's going, there's too much space between the trend line and price action, you look for the nearest black candle. There has to be no interference with the black candle. No candle must print above it. No black must print. Weak body, there must be no black above it. If there's red above it, don't worry. So now, this black to black, you have a red above, close above it, but there's no higher high. So you move your trend line to the nearest black, which is here. Please remember, it is, you won't see all these. It is as the candles are forming, you'll be shifting your trend lines. So please practice properly. Make sure you understand it, back test properly before you decide to use it on a live chart. Please use it on demo or whatever it is you. I think I should do a video on that too, because my videos are meant like 70% for newbies. I want the new traders to really get a hold of trading. Though I know the pros will still come and steal some of our strategies. But it's all good. It's love in sharing. So basically, this is the week. You put your black there and look at it. Price came down, broke the trend line here, but there was no lower low before price closed again. If there's a break and price closed again below the leg that broke the trend line, if there is no higher high and price closed below it, you shift your trend line to the top, that is the black candle. So at this point now, what happened? Price broke below it, above it, and created a higher high. So what this sign is, it has finished its work, but it is still fine. Let's leave it there. So the next thing we start looking for is a break below of the Judas candle. And at the end of the day, which candle betrayed the whole thing? This red didn't betray it, this black didn't close below this, this one didn't betray, this black didn't close below it. All these ones didn't. It was here, this red, these two red candles that sold out the rest. Look at it. There was a close, lower low close below it. And what happened after that? Price came back to those candles. Always put your trend line below those candles. If it is a buy model, put your trend line above those candles. So you are very accurate. You know when exactly to hit your sell buttons or your buy buttons, then or you're going to dive down into a smaller time frame to go and look for your small time frame entries. So look at it. It was these two candles that betrayed the whole thing. They betrayed all their friends. They sold them out. There was a lower low close and price did what? Went there and price sold. Look at it. This strategy is everywhere. Let me show you this because this matters a lot. The last successful one, that's the last successful trade. This is the last one that was successful because it closed. It closed properly. It pulled back there, it closed below the pullback. So this is a successful trade. Other ones too are successful, but the last one, anytime you take a trade, no matter the strategy, if you take a trade and it fails to break below the previous, that's the low, it fails to break below the pullback. This is the pullback phase. We sold here. What we expected was we wanted price to break below this candle, this red. Assuming it did, this would have been the last successful trade, but it didn't. It was this one. So the highest point this pullback got to is where you mark. Once you mark that spot, that is where, if you have a break above this spot, please watch this again if you don't get what I'm saying. Once you have a break above that spot, that is a change of character. The last good entry, the last successful trade you had, that one is sealed. So that is a confirmed high. This one you entered just now didn't break below this spot. So it is not a confirmed high or low, right? It's not a confirmed, since we are selling, this is a confirmed lower high. From here to here to this place, that is a confirmed lower high. This is not confirmed yet. Assuming it's closed below this, it would have been a confirmed one. So the high of the low, that is the last, the last confirmed lower high. The high of that lower high is that point. Once price closes it above it here, now I marked it just now, the confirmed high, I marked it. So once price closes above it, that is a change of character according to this strategy. So now once you have a close above it, that's a change of character. So this is the last, that is the highest black candle there. So you start marking your trend lines again. You look for black, you place it here. Place it here, look at it. And at the end of the day, maybe as at this place, at the time this formed, all this has not happened, but later it happened, it printed, and look at what happened. There was a break below this trend line, a lower low formed. So at the break of that trend line, a lower low formed. So normally, once you have a lower low, what do you start doing? You start looking for your what do we call it? The trading candle. And at the end of the day, if you want, like I said earlier, you have to make sure there's a lower low close below the trend line. This now is a buy entry. And look at it now. At the end of the day, if you start looking at it the way I taught you to, this black candle is the sellout candle, is the Judas candle, and price broke above its higher high. And you mark that candle and look at what happened. Price left it. You would have even thought price will not come back to it, but look at what happened again. Price did all the strolling, the jogging and everything. And look at where price came to again. There, exactly there. You would have just taken your entry here, and what do you see? And price did what? It bought. This is a very, very simple and straightforward strategy. So this works on 15 minutes, on 30 minutes, on 1 hour. 4 hours is out of the question. You grow old, you grow gray hairs before your chart gives you trading opportunities. So funny enough, this is where I think I have to pull the curtains for this video. My strategies are very, very simple. Though I always say it won't happen all the time. But once you have that strategy in your arsenal, once it presents itself, you're good to go. But please don't mix up everything. Stick to one and develop it. Or if you are like me, watch different videos. You can watch all my videos. Choose one, then modify it to your taste. What is the aim? The aim is make money, profits, peeps, make peeps. So please subscribe, click the notification bell so you get notified once I come up with very lovely strategies like this. And please have a very lovely day. Bye.